Good evening, friends, or I should say good afternoon for y'all in the States. I hope you guys are well. I hope you had a great trading week. It certainly proved to be something phenomenal. This week we have an amazing guest with us. Those of you may already know Coach John Austin. He is focused on government contracts, and so it's always interesting to have people come in with expertise in other areas to be able to just break down knowledge and what is going on overall in with the government, with contracting, where the government is focusing funding, because it helps inform us in our own trading. And I see my co-host for the evening, my co-hosts are both already here. Wow, this is wonderful. Great to have you on, Uncle Charles and Coach John. Let's see if it will allow me to add you guys. Ah, that was fast. How are you?
I am good.
Hello.
What's up, Unc?
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you
Yeah, I can hear
perfectly.
you.
Good, good.
And
Just want to
for
make
a
sure.
while, I'm sorry, guys. I'm celebrating birthdays today, so
I was about to say today's your son's birthday, I think, or yesterday.
yeah, it was yesterday, but it's been his whole weekend. So I'm in a car, so but I'll stay on for a little while.
Well, it's great to have you. So, for those that don't know, Coach John Austin, he is focused on government contracts with Bank Ready, and he just always brings a wealth of knowledge about where the government is focused, where they're providing contracts, what areas they're needing people, where they're finding it difficult to find people. So it's a great way to actually understand our economy, what economies are growing, which ones are contracting. Just overall, you always bring such a wealth of knowledge with you. So I don't want to, I don't want to like tell you what to talk about because this is your area of expertise. So I will just pass the mic over to you, and yeah, feel free to let us know what's been going on in the area of government contracting.
Gosh, a lot. As you probably first saw, the first part of this year, Elon and the current administration had a nice first 2 quarters. I'll be politically correct because I have to be careful what I say and don't say. Lord have mercy. But I mean, in the midst of all of the volatility that it brought about, right? Let's be honest, it was very volatile. There was a lot of shock to the system. We
Mm-hmm.
were in 2 contracts that got canceled,
Okay.
paused, almost lost them, but then we had to move them over to another vehicle so we can keep things going. So that put a shock to our system. I didn't see it coming. Um, I don't say I'm Superman. I can avoid these things, but when you have government on the phone, I talked to 2 Air Force colonels. I've got a lot of government folks, state, city, local, federal, that I can call and we can talk
Mm-hmm.
outside of an RFP. Because if you're in an RFP, which is a request for proposal, there is a dead time when you can't talk. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
care how close y'all are, respectfully, they won't talk to you. And really, you don't ask, 'cause that's people use their jobs. There's a reason why you don't talk during that time. That's when they're making their decisions. But those I'll be honest, especially with the FAR, and let's just jump into the FAR. If y'all don't know what the FAR is, please take notes because I'm gonna give a lot of stuff away today. I'm like dumping a lot of it out. Because what it'll help you work with a JP Morgan Chase, like what I'm dealing with. It'll help you on both sides. Because when we
Mm-hmm.
hear the word, before I say FAR, government contracting, really at the end of the day, it's procurement.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody put procurement in the chat. It is procurement. It is how a business or an agency secures services that they need, products that they need. So, when, for example, JP Morgan Chase is buying ink pens, somebody's buying them. Somebody's, They're buying them, and somebody is actually selling it to them.
Mm-hmm.
There is a list there, and that is called purchasing and procurement. Whatever department, whatever company you work for, Google purchasing and procurement department, and there is a list of vendors. There's a list of how to do business with them, and it's very similar. Chase, Accenture, Nvidia, Walmart, Amazon. Everybody has a way of doing business with them.
Mm-hmm.
The government has a way of doing business with them. They don't supply their own stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, One of my clients, oddly enough, gave me a call a couple months ago, and she's like, "Hey, coach, guess who I got a job with?" I'm like, "Well, who? Hadn't talked to you in a while." "Well, I'm a procurement officer for the Air Force in San Antonio." "Hi,
Nice.
really?" I said, "Okay, good stuff." I'm like, "Man, we about to go to town." But she was a former client of ours. She did Airbnbs and vending machines and all kind of other stuff. She worked sales for Macy's, and she done some pharmaceutical stuff. And then went over to procurement. Small world. It's how it works. But when it comes to procurement, and we'll say with the government, don't let the government thing throw y'all. It's just
Mm-hmm.
jurisdictional, meaning who's got the superiority over a certain area. So if you're driving down Atlanta, even federal, because really on the international side, there's government contracts there. And out of the five banking systems, there's two in the U.S. and three globally. Internationally, they control the procurement. So
Mm-hmm.
wherever you're at in Europe, South America, Asia, India, somebody's governing how those contracts are done. So whatever your business does, you want to be able to find out who's selling what you're buying. I mean, who's
Mm-hmm.
buying what you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So for me, Air Force is big for us because they do a lot of professional services. If you're in construction, the infrastructure bill that what Biden put in place is still running, and if
Oh.
anything, it's about to jack up because these data centers that they're building,
Mm-hmm.
HVAC, plumbing, electrical, all the trades. If y'all got kids in high school going to college, wink, wink, tell them to go get their HVAC plumbing certs, get their degrees in that, project management in that, because these data centers are not going away
Mm-hmm.
anytime soon. The CHIPS Act, all that, they're not going away anytime soon. You're gonna need funding. Get with JP because JP Morgan actually is one of the top 1, 2, 3 funders in real estate and construction
Oh.
through the SBA, which is oddly enough you wouldn't think they're that big, and you see them nodding his head. So get with a relationship because they are. And I didn't even realize that I'm in the bank ready system because we deal with the banking side and we deal with the contracting side.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of water hosing this thing because I want us to realize everything I just said boils down to what do you offer
Mm-hmm.
in what entity, agency, whatever word they call it, company, jurisdiction, who is hey, I have a need over here. We're building this building. We're supplying these pharmaceutical services. We've got medical care for the VA. Whatever. We're building this freeway. We're building this hospital. We need somebody to help us do that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the work themselves at all.
So coach, I,
Yes.
I, I got a question for you,
Yes,
and
sir.
you kind of hit on it at the very beginning. So when all the stuff kind of broke out, like the second or third month of the new administration, and everybody started freaking out about the government contracts being canceled or being different, but the work still got to get done some kind of way.
Yes.
So maybe you can hit on, is it the government now is trying to do more of it themselves? Or are they just trying to go a different route in the contracting space than in the past?
Great question. Good pivot. I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. Thanks for the tee up. So we got into this whole DEI thing. Everybody got their feathers ruffled. Man, man. It's Sunday, so I can't use certain words, but I would tell all of y'all, don't just DEI, crumble it, throw it away. It was cool for a time, and like
Mm-hmm.
everything else, things move in cycles. Just like the market, bull bear, bull bear, bull bear, more bull than bear. You have to know how these cycles ebb and flow. So just because they got rid of DEI, they really didn't get rid of it. They just took those initials and turned them into something else. Because if you read again, if you're going to Yahoo Finance, the same way y'all look at stocks and you look at the white papers and you listen to the conference calls, I do the same thing. Like, read it for
Mm-hmm.
government contract? Yeah, I do. Because I'm listening for two different things. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for fiscal responsibility. I'm looking at financials. I'm looking at the white paper, looking at the books. But I'm also looking at how are they doing business. And if 99% of the businesses out there are small, which is $500,000 to $47 million in revenue, which is a lot of people. Yes, you can be at 47 million and still be considered small. Mid cap, the government is still using those businesses. They have to. They
Mm-hmm.
just use you differently. So if you were LGBTQ, if you were woman owned, if you were certain things, and you were in that DEI bracket or in that minority bracket, they just
Mm-hmm.
call you something different because it's time to change. But they
Mm-hmm.
still have SBA still has a scorecard. Somebody put in chat scorecard, SBA scorecard. They score how well they do and how many women they bring on, how
Mm-hmm.
many ethnic groups, but they don't call them ethnic by race anymore. It's more woman, service disabled veteran, and small. You never change being small. They just took some of the ethnicity stuff off because they're not really dealing with it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they'll call it underutilized. They'll call it
Okay.
something else, basically, something else. But you're still small. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think it was a good thing they did by taking DEI away because people were leaning too hard on that, like you were entitled to get a contract just because you were certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You're still small. You still, like Unc said, you have to perform. So what the
Mm-hmm.
government did do is they used certain vehicles, like Unc's riding in a vehicle, he's riding in a car. So that car that he's in, there's a car called GSA, General Service Administration. GSA is they have vehicles within GSA,
Mm-hmm.
and those vehicles have what's called GWACs, government-wide acquisition contracts. Those big vehicles, they're big vehicles. I mean, they're huge contracts. So you'll
Uh-huh.
bring in a lot of your big boys who will play a major role, and then they'll take small businesses and let them subcontract out under the vehicle. So if you say a vehicle is a Sprinter van, somebody's driving the Sprinter van, let's say healthcare, might be Pfizer and so and so. Somebody's riding a shotgun and a couple big boys in the back. You need to fill the rest of the van up with small businesses to make that vehicle work.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a $5 billion vehicle. Only 30% may go to the big companies. You got 70% that still has to be filled. By who?
Mm-hmm.
Smaller, subcontracted entities, and they'll make sure that a certain number go to small women, certain number go to veterans, certain, to make sure that everybody gets their fair share. So if you're a small business, you make sure you are capable and have the capacity, which is where Bank Ready comes in, the capacity to handle those contracts.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter if you're black, brown, blue, or purple. Doesn't matter what sexual orientation you are. All that stuff kind of go over there. Can you do the work? So to Unc's
Mm-hmm.
point, the government is making it a little bit easier, more efficient, instead of trying to make sure all these boxes get checked. Let's get all that out the way. Let's get to the money because we got an economic war we're fighting with China, with India, with BRICS and all these guys. And if we keep taking 6, 7 months to get to a contract, we're gonna lose. With AI, we're gonna lose. So we have to get to it quicker. So to his point, there's something called the FAR. The FAR is Federal Acquisition Regulations. Somebody put FAR, FAR. The
FAR.
FAR, to Unc's point, is the Bible, the red tape. It is over 2,000 pages of
Wow.
bureaucratic stuff you got to know to get to these contracts.
Wow.
Those came in and said, listen, this is too much. You got to cut all this fat out and all this and that. Take that away. Get that out the way. Da, 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 da. And they made the FAR a lot easier to work under. So I'm
Nice.
asking a very good question because now instead of all this red tape and stuff you got to go through, they made it easier to get to the money, to get to the
Nice.
contract. Yes, very nice. So procurement has less red tape to go
Mm-hmm.
through on the private side and the public side. Public is government, private is your Fortune 500s, all that. So it's a good thing that those came in. They did a little janky though because they messed a lot of stuff up. Because you should have got with somebody. Hey, Elon, you should have called me. We would have made it easier. He could have said, "I want to do this," like you did with Twitter when you bought it. He
Mm-hmm.
just gutted everything and then started to fix it back. And then when it started messing up, he said, "Oops, probably shouldn't have done that. But I don't care. I got my 4 billion in contracts. I don't care no more." And that's kind of how he did it. But they did fix a lot. I will be honest, but there's a lot that went wrong that they're still fixing now.
Mm-hmm. Did
Yeah.
you see a reduction in the number of contracts that actually were going out, or that actually it was irrelevant because they eased the path in which people could actually get to the contracts, so the end result was still for the individual, was still beneficial since they eased the path of procurement.
So they made the path easier, but before they even got there, and this is the unfortunate part, small business activity within the federal contracting space, even state, has dropped tremendously over the last couple of years. So there's less small businesses getting involved in government contracts in the last 3 years. So
Oh.
it's already was small as it is. It's gotten smaller, and I think I'm assuming that's why it's like, look, we have less involvement here. What's going on? We're losing our businesses. There, if you saw some of the data, small business applications went through the roof. There's more LOCs and S corps getting started. Women were going through the roof, so they're there. But why aren't they getting
Mm-hmm.
involved over here? Um, I think some people have kind of bought the hype with social media, and these gurus are trying to help, but they're not helping because you should have an uptick instead of a
Mm-hmm.
downtick if all this guru stuff was working. You can't middleman your way through this thing. Don't do that. Stop doing that.
Well, one of the things that I did hear, in the lead up to our conversation, trying to listen to some different podcasts that might actually cover something relevant. One of the things that I kept hearing people talk about is the smaller businesses was that they were constantly like in this situation where they were trying to determine which projects they could finance because they could no longer finance every project just because the cost of financing was so high. And one gentleman was saying that he actually won multiple contracts, and then he just wasn't going to be able to satisfy all of them because he wasn't expecting to get all of the contracts simultaneously, and he just didn't have the financing in place to be able to respond to all of them. So he was able to reach out to like other companies that he knew and try to like pull in other people to kind of help with the weight. But I mean, when he was telling the story, you could just feel the level of stress he was facing. And it wasn't related to could we do the project? Could we satisfy the project? But it was all surrounding can we get all the financing? Because some aspects of the contracts we have to satisfy up front. And
Mm-hmm.
then that does require some end to end, better business, like, this kind of financing models that they were just nervous about being able to secure at a decent rate. So I'm not sure if that's something that small business that you also see other small businesses facing, if that's a true pain point.
Way too often. And again, I'm gonna throw it back to Unc because having a banker, if you've got a federal, state, local contract, that's guaranteed money in hand. If you have the right banker who can look at that
Mm-hmm.
contract, make a phone call to verify it, and know that money's coming, this is where bank ready comes in too. Can you bank? How much runway do you need? That's all that
Mm-hmm.
we need to know. I you saying that he didn't have the right banker. That's it. You don't have the right banker or bankers.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if you have like you said the right banker or the right the project manager or the company who understands this, then you can still get your projects financed. You can still get your projects completed, and they will actually the banks will have contacts with other companies that you could partner with to get the project done.
Mm-hmm.
See, the biggest thing that I'll say people don't understand is just basic collaboration. I'm sorry, but if people would ever learn how to work together and stop trying to hold all the strings to the money bag, you will
Mm-hmm.
actually get more money. But we are so bad at just basic collaboration, we lose out, we get scared, we're fearful of, oh, now I can't do the project.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when Coach heard about a lot of this stuff, he pinged me and said, I got contacts now in Houston with the firm. I'm like, hey, good. I'm glad you got them because they gonna know more about it than I will ever know. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but what I've been learning is just people themselves not understanding that collaborative way of doing business and understanding that look, you don't know everything, but find somebody who does. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem. Yes, I'm older than a lot of people. I read, but if I know that somebody else already has the answers, I'm going to that person. I, my ego is not so big that I will not ask. I work with some junior engineers right now who are doing things that I don't care to do at this point in my career. Okay, but I know I need it, so I'll go to them and say, "Hey, get this done for me, and let's collaborate and get this done." So I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing the same thing in the banking industry, where I don't know who saw the thing the other day. Is it BlackRock and working together on some projects? I saw that on yeah, it kind of flew under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
But City is like BlackRock understands this part of the investment world better than we do.
Mm-hmm.
We got $80 billion that we can give to them to let them go invest for us in different vehicles. Give them a little chunk of that money, but we still gonna get back more than what we gave them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if big companies are willing to do that, companies like what Coach is doing, if I want to know something about government contracting, yeah, I'm gonna read up about it so I can sound somewhat intelligent talking to Coach. But I'm still gonna let Coach do the majority of the work and just pay him to get it done because that's not my thing. But people don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why it's an ego thing because, well, it also tells me though because I stopped asking why so much, and I'll say how can I put you in the room because one of our four pillars is positioning.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you plan on doing? What's your strategy to get there? What credentials or certifications do you need to maneuver? And most importantly, positioning. Where are you
Mm-hmm.
positioned to see what's going on? And when you're in these rooms where they're giving out the bids and the pre-bids and the scopes
Mm-hmm.
of works and all that, it really looks very immature when you're sitting in a space and you're the only one or two that's trying to knock this whole thing out. People don't
Mm-hmm.
trust you if you're one or
Mm-hmm.
two and trying to go after and you don't have a team. You should say my team and I, my team,
Mm-hmm.
because they will ask you, okay, so who's your team? Who's like who's doing this
Yeah.
with you. Because if you don't have a team,
Mm-hmm.
scope of work has already been played out. Like they know what it's going to take. What they're really trying to look for, to be honest with you, is can you help them frame the scope of work even better? Because you're the subject matter expert. Now, if you can
Mm-hmm.
start that more, it forces collaboration, but it forces it to a point of, you know what? I need like 5 other people to get this thing done.
Mm-hmm.
I got my, Google Collaborative Python certification. Yeah, I got my Google AI certs. I got them all sitting here. I had to go get them. I had to. I knew a little bit about AI. I'm not Mark Monroe, but I had to get my stuff together to know how to pull this together. But I got
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 retired Air Force veterans who are like their resumes. I mean, the first 3 pages is certifications. And you say, hey, I want to do this, and they just start, going.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah,
And
come on over.
the crazy thing, coach, that I'm finding is people think they can walk into and get these government contracts and not have all the right certifications. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You trying to go get a government contract, but you not SOC 1, SOC 2, SOX, none of this compliant, and you think they're gonna give you a contract? Okay. Why are you trying to get compliant? Connect with somebody who already has that. Let work with them. They now are on your team, as he was just saying. Oh, you can check
Mm-hmm.
the box.
Yes,
You need PCI? Oh, I know somebody who already got that. Their whole group is PCI compliant. Connect with them. You got great software, but this man or this whoever, and he made another point. So all this D and I stuff, and look, people drop the name, they change the letters or whatever. It's on our thing. We call it DONI now. Now the O stands for opportunity, and opportunity means it's for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We look, we still don't care who you are. Red, yellow, green, black, whatever, left, right, up, down. Bring us your money, and we will work with you.
yes.
We just don't call it equity anymore. We call it opportunity and inclusion. Okay.
That's
So
all. That's all.
companies got smart. Like, hey, okay, just so we don't even have to deal with the administration anymore on this. And if you notice, you really don't hear a lot about it in the news anymore. It
Mm-hmm.
has kind of gone on into the darkness.
And they got
Yeah.
bigger fish to fry because now we're in a space where okay, this is the last month for the federal fiscal year for 2024. After
Mm-hmm.
September 31st, it's over for this year. So right
Yep.
now, it's hot and heavy. If you want a government contract now, there's a thing called simplified acquisition. Somebody put in there simplified acquisition SAP. Simplified acquisition procedures is a way that instead of going through as much red tape as they can do a sole source award or a direct award to any company that can make it work. So you got rule of two, where 2 women can come on, 2 veterans can come on, say, hey, I know the incumbent was doing this, but I see you haven't awarded it yet. I'm looking at Sam. I'm looking at whatever. I'm looking at my local state jurisdiction. I see this is available. We can do the work. Can you? And if you have the dialogue with this agency company, they can award it directly to you. And it happens a
Wow.
lot during the last 2 months of the federal year. Because when October 1st comes, whatever money they didn't spend, it's going to go somewhere. But
Yeah.
it has to be spent this year. So right now we're
Mm-hmm.
very busy on trying to, get things together. Clients are doing their stuff. We're doing our stuff. I'm very selfish now to go and have some home contracts because I haven't really done it before. I've really been helping more of the other businesses. But, Tom's point about the whole DEI thing, we have to understand just the rules of engagement. People got really happy about Target CEO stepping down. Oh, we won. Can I let the cat out the bag, Susan, really fast about the Target thing? Y'all realize he stepped down as CEO with a golden parachute next year. But you know he's still head of the board, right? Which is more powerful than the CEO. So he didn't go anywhere. Y'all
Hmm.
think y'all won because you don't understand your financial and business acumen, and we need to fix that. He's still there.
And he got richer.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't go anywhere. He just left
Nope.
one position. He stayed on as the board. He still runs the show, but he was the scapegoat to make it seem like Target got a little punch. No, he just moved over. I mean, he really stayed there. So again, DEI, we got to be careful with the fugaziness of some of this stuff because it'll make you think. Target, go look at Target's gross revenue for last year. See how much money Target has made, and the little bit they said that they lost. Compare that. Do like you do a stock. Go to Yahoo
Mm-hmm.
Finance. See how much money Target made year to date. How much they're expected to make through Christmas, and you tell me if they got hit or not, and how much the CEO about to get paid. So we
Mm-hmm.
focus sometimes on the wrong things,
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes. So
And one thing that you need to pay attention to, like you said, he moved up. He's just on the board of directors now, but he's leading the board of directors. Okay, they put a new
Mm-hmm.
CEO in place. They hired a new marketing group or whatever to help them with their marketing. So, and they said, oh, we've taken all the complaints and issues and items that our customers have talked about. And what they're going to do is come out with a brand new marketing plan. You're going to start seeing that probably by mid to late September as we get ready to go into the shopping season. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And all this, you know, stuff that they went through, it'll be a thing of the past. And like somebody say, yeah, he got a promotion. Yes, he did.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And um, they are going to get back to where they are. Because matter of fact, if you go in and look at the books, it might be a $94, $95 stock now, but they still paying one of the highest dividends out there. So they still are attracting
Mm-hmm.
shareholders. And
That's
shareholders who
actually a
understand,
really good point.
yeah, shareholders who understand long-term investing understand what those dividends actually mean if you accumulate enough shares.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where the money is. Okay, it's not so much. It's not going up and down $10. It's like my dividends are hitting every month. So I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Warren Buffett, like we talk about this, Warren Buffett making his dividends from Coca Cola are in the millions.
Yep.
He could care less if the stock don't ever move, but they still keep paying that same dividend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's the long term. But yeah, but coach, go ahead, man. I actually, guys, I'm gonna have to sign off because we're getting ready to pull off here. I just wanted to come on. I hadn't been on in a while, and getting all
Yeah,
these
we missed you,
birthdays
Uncle
behind me,
Charles.
getting all these birthdays and celebrations, and behind me now, and I'll become a regular again. But anyway, it's good seeing you guys, and I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Adam,
Thanks for
All
joining us,
righty,
Uncle Charles.
all righty, bye
Ciao.
bye.
yeah, I like having him here because it's good to be able to bounce off, what he's saying, and so let's jump into so again, people are here, for the government contracting piece, and they're here for that. Saw a lot of
But what I
comments.
want to know is so, for us on the investment side, we're seeing so much relating to, even today, I think that I moved now to Montenegro. And so oftentimes now the news is completely different, right? Because we're not technically in the European Union. So the news is often like giving us news about the European Union from a non-European person's perspective or a non-European country's perspective. And so it's kind of funny because they did a whole kind of expose on a million things relating to like new drone technology, AI technology, and just the focus on government contracts and expansion of government contracts in those areas. Um, where are you seeing the biggest changes in what the government wants to what they want to get out of these contracts? What are they looking for that has changed over the last year or two or three?
So when Uncle was talking about the SOC 2 and all these different certifications, Now that AI is in the fabric of everything we do, now that cybersecurity and cyber resilience is a part of the landscape, you really need to have a cybersecurity person on either retainer or have someone there, because you're going to have a cyber component to your contract or to your business to make sure that your data, their data, or the data that's exchanged has a level of security to it. That's number one, especially on the federal side. And whatever happens federal leaks down into other jurisdiction. You may hear SLED, that's state, local education. But for me, it's just with whatever jurisdiction you're in. So cyber is one. AI is another, to where you're going to have some component of a large language model. There's going to be a sprinkle of AI in there somewhere. If it's not today, you're going to be using it somewhere. So how are you protecting your data? Again, data in, data out. How's that being used? Please don't write your proposals totally in AI, because they can tell and they know. But it is, I think, beneficial to use a large language model to help you spearhead your proposal process so it's more efficient, gets in and out, and you're not having to wait so long to get things done. Because the faster you get in, the faster you do your Q&A, uh, just the better. But to answer your question more directly, I'm seeing the same old, because you've got the top three government spend: professional services, infrastructure, but what's being added into it are your trades. You're seeing more need for HVAC plumbing because of data centers. You're seeing, especially here in the U.S., the infrastructure is just going rampant. So construction is huge. Professional services are huge. The need for consultants is a little bit less. So I'm seeing a bigger push towards a smaller business doing what, say you've got a Deloitte. They may not get the big price, or they may have to work with the smaller business or smaller businesses to go after these contracts. So if Deloitte and Accenture are getting hit on the consulting side, where are the small businesses coming in and say, hey, we can do the same work as Deloitte did, but we can do it for half or for, we're leaner, we're quicker. It doesn't take as long to get in, get out. We see the need for it here. Here's how we would do it. So I'm seeing an increase in RFIs. I'm seeing an increase in sources sought. Sources sought is that they're trying to figure out how to scale through these projects. So, hey, here's what we're trying to do. How would you do it? Requests for qualifications, requests for information. Small businesses don't go after those enough. And that's what we're missing, because we don't see the immediate impact. It's like, well, it's not an RFP, so I'm not going to go after it. There's a cyclical process for government contracting. The first part of that cycle is the inquiry phase. So we're going to, if the Air Force or Department of Defense, there are multiple levels. DLA, real big in contracting. VA, super big in contracting. They'll go out and say, hey, we're trying to do this under this vehicle. How would you help us do this? And people don't source by that. They don't search for those. They don't answer. On LinkedIn, I think one of the Army officials was like, we keep putting this stuff out, but really one or two people answer. So if there's $1 billion in contracts sitting there and no one's even answering the inquiry, they're like, well, we got to give it back to the same big team that we had before. So I'm
Right.
seeing a lot of that happening, to where the contracts aren't necessarily changing, but the way they go after the companies has changed. But small businesses aren't involved in that process as much as they need to be, so they're missing the boat. Because if you
Yeah,
answer an
that's
RFI or request for qualifications or sources sought, and you're talking to them and helping them figure it out, it could go from, okay, you seem to be really good at this. You built a rapport. Can you do this? We'll go ahead and solicit right to you. And you can get an award just by going through that process.
yeah. It's funny, the first time we spoke about a year ago, and I was trying to learn a little bit about how this actually worked. It seemed like the time from when you started like looking for these RFPs to actually, and then sending out a bunch of different proposals to actually getting contracts was took a lot of time. And then more recently, it feels like smaller businesses are talking about, like, I didn't just get one response, I ended up with a bunch of positive responses, and now I don't know what to do. And so it feels like the distance between, the RFP going out to people actually like responding and getting the contracts, the time frame has just significantly collapsed on itself. And small businesses that aren't already engaged don't realize that, because a lot of small businesses stop the process because they didn't have the capacity to respond to so many different inquiries. Um, because I remember in like a first couple of Zoom calls that I was sitting in with different like support to small businesses, that was the thing. They said, don't give up, because getting your first contract is always the most difficult thing to kind of achieve. But once you're in the system, once you've already had a contract and you kind of have this rapport established, getting other contracts becomes a lot easier. And but now it seems like even if you've never had a contract, you could suddenly stumble into two or three contracts quite quickly, because they are so desperate to engage with small businesses.
They are. And to your point, right? If we ever went full tilt and just started really going after contracts, y'all wouldn't see us. Like, I wouldn't be doing this at all, because I'd be too tied up actually in the work of it all.
Hmm.
What is happening, and what I'm trying to get people to understand is, if you're going after an RFP, it's already on the street, what they call it. You
Hmm.
want to get it before it hits the street. So in the
Hmm.
procurement phase of things, if you're chasing after RFPs only, if that's what you're going after, lo and behold, only 20% of the contracts that are out there are on SAM.gov, where everybody goes to look. If you go through
Hmm.
TikTok, I see everybody's talking about SAM.gov, SAM.gov, SAM.gov. That's the later phase. It's already been scoped. They pretty much have made a decision on how they want to do it. And yeah, I mean, because once the work is scoped, they're looking for proposals on how to handle it. But you've got
Right.
pre-bid, you've got pre-solicitation, you've got all this
Hmm.
pre-relationship building time, really. So what I
Hmm.
try to tell most folks, and if you really watch enough YouTube channels of people that are actually procurement officers, or you go to
Hmm.
an industry day, or you take Army, Air Force, Navy, DLA, DOD, your local state, city, whatever, even internationally, with your international chambers of commerce, whomever, and you look at how to do business with. I
Hmm.
would use like Perplexity. I would use and chat's okay, but there's other research tools that'll tell you, okay, based on what you do, here's the best
Hmm.
agency. USA Spending is
Hmm.
great for that. You can go in there and see, based on your NAICS code and your product services code, what agency spends money in that space, right?
Wow.
And then start courting those guys now
Hmm.
based on their projections of what they're looking to do in 2026 and further on. You can go to like fpds.gov, the Federal Procurement Data System. They go back like to the 70s, 1980s in contracts. You go see how they were awarded, and then kind of say, okay, this is the template they've used. These are the codes. This is what I do. And start talking to them now. Like, hey,
Hmm.
I do. I see what y'all are looking at doing, what you've done in the past. I see the last couple of years of contracts that are out. These are about to expire. So how can my business do business with you guys? And
Hmm.
and and how can we get in bed with you and start to actually work with you to satisfy the mission? How can we be mission critical, right? You want to start
Hmm.
using those words. Have Chat GPT or whomever go through the websites and start
Hmm.
looking at the way they talk about what they're trying to do. That's the work that needs to be done ahead of time.
Hmm.
So, and
Hmm.
I have two Air Force colonels I have on my phone, and I talk to them all the time, like all the time. And I'm talking to one colonel now to where I know what they're about to do because we can talk about it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I know the bases need what work. I know what this is going on, that's going on. So when I get off the phone with them, I'm like, okay, we're lockstep. So I know what projects are about to come out. They haven't come out
Hmm.
yet. So we can almost you can weave yourself into the fabric ahead of time. And the
Hmm.
best thing before it becomes an RFP, you can get an opportunity and get a contracting opportunity before it even gets scoped out. Or if it is going to
See,
get scoped out,
y'all
you're
need
working.
to tap in with Coach John because, I mean, the thing is, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to waste so much time trying to get from point A to point B.
Oh,
And if you're a small business, you are in an ideal position to be able to grab some government contracts, but you have to know how to position yourself correctly because the background work, as you're saying, is actually the most imperative part of, like, if you're waiting for the RFP, actually that's already kind of, the ship is already sailing and you're not behind the ball anymore. But which makes sense actually. So being in contact with somebody like you who already has kind of their, has their tentacles out and already knows what different government agencies are looking for, you can help people connect the dots a lot faster so that they're actually going after contracts or they're preparing themselves to get contracts that are actually starting to come together that are best positioned for them.
yeah, because you want to be going after the relationship. Case in point, you asked the question
Mhm.
earlier about the changes that are happening earlier this year. So many firms quantify success with how many RFPs I've gone after this month, this quarter. I need to do at least 5 a month to be successful. I get that because that's what you know. But I would
Mhm.
ask if you sent out 5 a month times 12, that's what, 60? So
Mhm.
what's your P rate? What's your proposal win rate with sending out that many?
Mhm.
And in all that sending out, does that agency know you? Like when out of the whole
Mhm.
file of everybody else they've got, how do they know you in that process,
Mhm.
right? And with the whole thing that happened in the first half of the year,
Mhm.
people who are winning are those who have relationships. Because if
Mhm.
those did their thing and they shook the market up, can you pick up the phone and call the top 5, top 10 who still need your services, but this whole way of doing things has gotten so messed up, they don't even
Mhm.
answer their own RFPs for the most part. They're going to go with who they know, who they trust, because
Mhm.
work got to be done. So can you
Mhm.
call somebody locally, county, city, state, even federal side, whoever's got jurisdiction
Mhm.
over this stuff? Who are you able to call and say, hey, listen, a lot of stuff's going on. What do y'all have planned for the rest of the year? How are y'all maneuvering in this space, and how can I help? That's where the conversations need to always be.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if it's not with that particular procurement officer, well, who am I dealing with? Because
Mhm.
there's an influencing body, there's a lobbying body, there's someone that signs off on these things. You need to
Mhm.
know where the triangle's at, and where
Mhm.
do you play all in the middle of it all. Because some of these things may not even
Mhm.
hit the desk. You want to be able to talk to
Mhm.
somebody now. So waiting for an RFP to come out, you're waiting too long.
Yeah.
And the way AI has things moving, the way these markets are moving, the way that things are happening, you got to get ahead of the game and be an
Mhm.
influence factor to
Mhm.
how they do their business. And if you make it easier for
Mhm.
them, they'll make it easier for you. And
Mhm.
that's how you build relationships where the trust factor
Yeah.
goes up.
It really demonstrates that, in spite of how much technology changes, how much AI moves us forward, that there's still such a human element to so much of what we do. And people often forget that unless you're showing up, people see your face, people get to know you, people have those touch points with you. I mean, it's amazing, even in sales, somebody was like talking, I was telling him about the trade speakeasy, and it was the number of hours someone actually has to be in a kind of an intimate setting with you. They have to see your face, they have to hear you, whether it's doing a live or seeing you teach something or being inside, whatever, before they start to really trust you with their money or with engagement or with collaboration or with a product. I mean, it's still a very significant amount of hours. And it's, I mean, the fact that you're repeating that same phenomenon in government contracting, which you would think that because the amount of AI that's out there, that they would just be like, okay, we've already read 1,000 businesses contracts. We can just dump all of this into AI, and it should just tell us who we should approach to satisfy all of these contracts instead of waiting for people to respond to these requests. But actually, if you want to get the contract, you still have to do the human work. You have to have the network, have the contacts, be meeting people, really like, you know, um, connecting. And that's how your opportunities are going to develop. And I think it's not just the reality in government contracting. However, I have to say, I'm very surprised that you and Uncle Charles previously kind of highlighted that point, that actually the greatest weakness that we see is in people's capacity and ability to collaborate. And I wonder if part of that's also kind of how we do life now. So much is based on social media, that for a lot of people, learning how to communicate with other people, like one to one, like this, is a talent that is kind of dying in a way. It's
Yeah,
quite phenomenal.
it is. And I'll even say one of my areas of opportunity is communicating better in certain facets. You think I'd probably be a staunch, awesome communicator. In certain areas, I am. In certain areas, it is a weakness because I assume things are going to happen this way, and they may not. So I may not communicate as effectively here as I should over here. Just coming off this cancer battle, all of that, a lot happened with that. So I was.
And big congratulations to you. For those who have not been following Coach Gene Austin's journey, he actually went through a very long season of fighting a battle with throat cancer. And I mean, has just come out so vibrantly on the other side of this and recovering well. And I see you, I mean, you are doing phenomenal. So I find it very encouraging to have watched your journey. It's been a blessing, and I'm so glad for you and for your wife, who also, I believe, had a transplant
Yeah.
not too long ago. So both of you have just done phenomenally well, have come through significant health scares, but doing well. So praise the Lord for that.
Yeah, she's a fighter. She has had two open heart surgeries in the last 3 to 4 years. She had her LVAD put on when we found out she had a very serious heart condition where she had heart failure, which is worse than what we thought it was. She had an
Mm.
LVAD device put on to help the heart do its thing. And then right after I'm getting over my chemo and kind of clear to recover, Thanksgiving, the time of Thanksgiving holiday, we get the call, she gets her heart. So I'm at the
Mm.
office kind of getting some stuff together. I'm still, I've dropped a lot of weight. And
Yeah,
her,
you look great, by the way.
thank you, thank you. She's with a couple, two of our daughters, and she came to bring me some food because she's a chef, great chef, by the way. Um, she's bringing me some food, and one of our daughters said, "Hey, mom's on the phone, whatever." I said, "Okay," and she comes in with this look on her face, and I'm like, "So what is it?" She had like a smile, but a different look, and she's like, "It's we got the call." I'm like, "What is it?" The heart's in. And like, oh, that call. Right, really? Like, yeah, be at the hospital tomorrow because your heart's coming. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. So
Ah,
she had to go through heart surgery again. She has a brand new heart. She's doing great. She just had, a nice weekend with her girlfriends and all. So just to see what she's going through and battle back and me having this, head and neck cancer thing, and it really almost took me out. Like, I mean, I really statistically shouldn't be here, like at all.
wow.
So God's got a
Praise
mission
the
for
Lord.
both of us. So yeah, it's really crazy to see how things have happened and what God's got going on for us. Um,
Mm.
so it's definitely um, been a wild ride. See, somebody wants to
And
join. Let's who is it? Okay,
I'm not sure.
is watching. Yeah. So in the how much time do we have? So I want to make sure I kind of wrap up some good stuff here. But
Okay,
Um,
yeah, we are almost at top of the hour. But I mean, really, you and your wife have gone through a lot, and the fact that you are just still so passionate about what you are doing and trying to pull in small business owners into the government contracting space is so deeply encouraging. It proves how much you love what you do because, I mean, if I had been in a reverse situation, I'm sure that I would have maybe like taken had to wanted to take more space away from maybe like work life, but this is something like you're not only amazing at, you and you bless a lot of small businesses and young families as they're trying to like get into this space, because if you don't know what you're doing, you genuinely don't know how to kind of navigate the sphere. And I know that Bank Ready just provides a lot of wisdom to a lot of young families and small businesses to be able to like help them get into this space. But yes, I know you. There's more that you want to share, so I don't want to
yeah, yeah.
cut
No,
you
so
off.
it's funny because this actual this picture behind me, I actually got it framed. This is the first architectural rendering of when we kind of got in that billion-dollar range of projects. This is 2008, 2009,
Wow.
drawn when we had the whole real estate crisis. We didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
we were doing a government contracting space. So I wanted to take this out of the little cylinder and put it on the wall to remind myself, hey, how far you come, what you do, and the same stuff that made it work then, the same stuff that makes it work now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm passionate about it because I think I forgot how many women in particular lost their jobs in the last, say, 60, 90 days. And
Mm-hmm.
what there's a formula to help them get back in the race.
Mm-hmm.
And the government procurement space, government contracting space needs them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a woman listening to this or a small business listening to this, here's the 1, 2, 3 punch. If anyone has heard of the silver tsunami, not sure if you've heard of it or if you've dealt with it yet. The silver tsunami is when you hear the transfer of wealth that's happening,
Mm-hmm.
massive transfer of wealth. The undertow is there's a lot of your baby boomers who are retiring. And
Mm-hmm.
those businesses are 10, 20, 30 years old. Their
Mm-hmm.
kids don't want the business, they're doing something else. So if
Mm-hmm.
certain space, you're an entrepreneur, you're a CEO, if you have pretty much guaranteed systems, staff, policy procedures, whatever, you can go and buy one of these businesses. The SBA will help you. We can help you underwrite it. It's not a hard thing to do. If you know that the government has a need, perfect example. If you know
Mm-hmm.
that HVAC, plumbing, construction, healthcare, DME, whatever, medical supplies, etc., and you can buy the business that gives you the capacity. Because you said a few times, small businesses may lack capacity. Well, if you don't have it, Unc said collaboration is one thing. Well, acquisition helps you with that collaborative effort. So you can have
That
a
is a
team.
gem right there.
You can team, JV, or acquire.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to lose their jobs anymore, especially right now. So if an
Mm-hmm.
owner wants to exit, you go look at the acquisition. We'll make sure it's a fruitful opportunity. Take that opportunity, ladies, and go get it. Now you become a woman-owned business.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that opportunity and partner with an agency with the government that has a need for that. You can
Mm-hmm.
get Uncle Charles and those business bankers with your JP Morgan, B of A, or a local regional bank, whomever, because everybody lends differently. But there's a formula of success to go from unemployed to working through an acquisition to working with an agency. It's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a hard thing to do. And you go work on your prompt engineering certifications through AI. And
Mm-hmm.
just automate some of these systems that are kind of archaic, old school, right? But they still work. You
Mm-hmm.
teach staff how to be AI ready.
Mm-hmm.
We do all those things in what's called business.
Mm-hmm.
That's not taught enough, so I'm glad we're on a platform today. Thank you for allowing that to happen. That's what needs to get pumped out. Because now you
Mm-hmm.
can go from being, oh my God, I lost my job, to, you know what, I'm going to pivot over here. Because your
Mm-hmm.
skill set is needed in the marketplace. You just don't know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And if we
Mm-hmm.
focus on that, that's what I'm passionate about, because I'm not one for excuses. Like, if there's a need, okay, how do we fix the need? If there's a problem, how do we fix it? And there's enough of the people there to fix the problems that
Mm-hmm.
racism won't affect, that the current administration, actually, if you just go to whitehouse.gov and look at what he's doing, like, don't get caught up in the emotions of whatever. There's things
Mm-hmm.
that are happening with these tech companies and NVIDIAs and AMDs and all that. Figure out where they're playing ball. They just met at the White House. There's a reason
Yep.
why Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg were at right across the table from each other.
Yes.
Don't get mad at who doing. No, no, no. Sam Altman sat here and said a gem or two. Mark's doing his thing. Elon's doing his thing. So take off the blinders of what you think isn't happening and figure out
Mm-hmm.
how you play ball, because the Yellow Brick Road is being laid out in a couple areas. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm up at night till 1, 2 in the morning on this AI stuff every single day to make sure
Wow.
getting it. Oh yeah, I don't go to bed. I got a bowl of ice cream and YouTube and other videos I'm watching, and I'm trying to stay on top of it so that I see where things are going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the NFL, yes, football teams. There's so many things that are happening in a positive.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at the top areas of spin, the NFL, NCAA, those will be global brands in the next 5 years. They are now.
Mm-hmm.
They'll even be more
Mm-hmm.
so global going forward. FIFA World
Mm-hmm.
Cup going to be in Houston and here in North America like next year. So if you're not
Mm-hmm.
be in that space, you're missing the boat right there.
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare is expanding, like, and I believe here in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta, Carolinas, out on the West Coast. So align yourself with the growth, infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
They're making concrete greener. So if you're in these trades, and from pinstriping freeways to whatever, if you're construction adjacent, I don't do construction.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that come along with construction. So figure out where these meetings are happening. Follow us
Mm-hmm.
with trees, where to go. Get involved with your local procurement departments and your chambers of commerce to see what's happening where. They'll tell you, because the Chamber of Commerce is the most underutilized group of people you ever want to mess with. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's Asian, Latino, Hispanic, I don't care. There's chambers of commerce. There's international
Mm-hmm.
chambers. Well, you are, you know. So it's just a matter of the opportunities are there. So how
Mm-hmm.
do we figure out which jurisdiction handles what?
Mm-hmm. But I think that you bring up an extremely good point. I mean, this was like one of the massive fallouts from, Doge and, shrinking the government and number of employees is, specifically a lot of minority women lost their jobs. And, but the thing is
Unfortunately, yeah.
that so for people who are watching this live or watch this later, you do want to connect with someone like Coach John. So if you're, um, if you are not already following him, follow him and get in contact, because if you know women who have capacity, they have skills, and they could be connected with some other businesses that are maybe in the process of being sold off, or there could be a joint venture or some kind of acquisition set in place, then there would be a good opportunity for them to be able to create capacity through these jobs. So if you're not already following, you have to follow. And if you know people who need those kinds of job opportunities because for whatever reason they've lost their job in the last 6 to 9 months, there are some amazing opportunities that are still out there, because I know that when people lose their jobs or they feel like the job that they're doing is There's no longer kind of growth in that sector and they need to retool. It can be an extremely discouraging process. But the thing is that no matter how discouraging it is a hump that you are going to have to get over because you cannot just be jobless for, I mean, you could, but it's going to be extremely stressful. And most people that have been working don't like to not work. They don't know how to do that. And so this is a great way to improve your skills, improve your situation, and improve your opportunities. But you have to know how to do it. And so for those that are out there that feel like, okay, but I don't know what to do, Suzanne, you don't have to know what to do. There are people like Coach John who know what to do. You need to connect with them. You need to be in touch. And he's available. I mean, I know so many people that reach out to him and get feedback and get, are pointed in the right direction. And even if he's not going to be the exact person to hold your hand through it, he will know who you need to be liaising with or in contact with. So, part of what we are doing here at Trade Speakeasy, yes, we talk about investing and we do trading and those kinds of things, but for a lot of people, they don't have the capital to do active trading and aggressive investing. So you need to increase your income, and this is really a phenomenal way to do that. So, don't sleep on these opportunities, friends, because there are good opportunities out there. You just have to know how to actually get the juice out of the lemon.
Yeah, I would definitely say kind of as we wrap up, one of the things I want people to understand is that if you take the next 12, 24 months, people are
Hmm.
like, wow, that's only 2 years. Like, yeah, but hold on. You can do a lot in 2 years. Two things are going to happen. The society is doing this.
Hmm.
That have nots isn't those that have money, those that don't. Those that take advantage of opportunity, of this new industrial movement, and those that sit on the
Hmm.
sidelines and just play around their phones or think that the world's going to owe you a favor and just give it to you. No.
Hmm.
If you're not reading books on certain topics of discussions like how to creatively think, don't
Hmm.
let society tell you that a degree in the humanities or understanding how to think and how to be creative, that's who's going to be your next CEOs
Hmm.
that can build a team, be the creative, the salesperson, and the infrastructure person. Meaning, who's my team built on? How can I
Hmm.
get out of here network to find out what we do and how to get it out and move
Hmm.
it in that space? That's the core of it. Get out of your comfort zone of what you thought, whatever worked for you last year and the year before and during COVID, is not going to take you into this next genre. It
Hmm.
just won't. It's not going to happen.
Hmm.
Get your lawyer buddy of yours, get your good
Hmm.
accountant, get you with the Chambers of Commerce, and start figuring out this wet. And you don't have to know it all. Actually, I'd rather you not book a
Hmm.
consultation. Thus, all I want to know is what do you do? What have you done? What can you do? And we'll
Hmm.
put you in a position where go here, here, there. It'll take care of itself. It's really
Hmm.
that easy, but you have to be that consistent. Well,
Hmm.
let's take failure off the table. There's no failing. There's you
Hmm.
took an L and made a bad mistake. I make mistakes all the time. I still do. Shucks, I still do. I don't.
Hmm.
It's not failure. It's just a mistake. We're human.
If you're
Things
not
happen.
failing at anything, are you even trying?
Yeah,
you know
failure is if you quit. That's failure.
Hmm.
Failure is if you quit. The CEO mindset is how do I take what I have and make the
Hmm.
most out of it, and just get into the room, and the room will take care of itself. I'm
Hmm.
telling you, once you get into one room, there's always these doors that we don't know even exist. I'm
Hmm.
attending think tanks I never knew existed because I
Hmm.
offered value in a room where people want to know. Real networkers like, okay, what do you do? You know what? I don't need it right now, but call Susan. Go,
Hmm.
hey, come over here. She's doing, he's doing. Y'all should buddy up, right?
Hmm.
And if you're doing it, you've done it. Your resume shows you've done it. That's your secret sauce because you've
Hmm.
done it. And if
Hmm.
you don't have it all, collaborate with somebody that does, and
Hmm.
the opportunity will start to present themselves the more you're networking in these spaces.
Mm-hmm.
90% of the networking that I go to, I don't want to go. I'm tired. I haven't taken a break since really going through chemo. I haven't really taken a break. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have I don't be, well, if you can't run your business, it's not really a real business if you can't leave it alone for 2 or 3 months. Um, last I checked,
I don't know any
uh,
business you can leave for 2 or 3 months that'll still be breathing afterwards.
yeah, the Bezos is still there. Zuckerberg's still there. I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
Sam Altman leave anything. I haven't seen the Google. Yeah, so be careful who you listen to and how you take advice from the social media
Mm-hmm.
that's out here. Yes, there's a work-life balance. Yes, you need to do certain things. Yes, I should rest more. Yes, we all should do these things. But right now, if you're in a position where you're trying to make a move, there's opportunity out the wazoo for
Mm-hmm.
us to. But invest in, if it's not me, a consultant that has put in the hours, that knows
Mm-hmm.
what to do with what you have. Um, I can do this stuff in my sleep because I'm just, thank God, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
So as a consultant advisor, I know where to go, and it's just not just the U.S., it's globally. But I can call people, we can set you up with this and that, the third. Um, be careful with the assumption that things happen fast.
Mm.
Careful with that. Things
Mm-hmm.
will happen when they happen. If
Right.
something takes, if contractually something takes 2 3 months, and it takes 6 months or a year, as long as it's still moving, let it move. As long as
Mm-hmm.
everyone's on board, we're okay. Because that's just going to happen. Life's going to life. It's
Right.
going to be because these are unprecedented times. They just
Mm-hmm.
are. Look at the real estate market. There's projects that should take 3 4 months that are taking way longer.
Yeah.
Uh, a good buddy of mine, Chris Senegal, just posted. He was with a client of his. The deal took like a year and a half longer than what it
Wow.
was planned to take, but they made an extra $1 million on it because it appreciated.
Wow.
Things just
Oh, there you
happen
go.
in the M&A space. Acquisitions, there's no set time and all this and all that. Just understand that if you're in the deal and the people you're in the deal with, you're in with a good group, you're working with an agency, that's when you really develop those relationships that last. So I want to be able to work with the city of Houston and
Mm-hmm.
Harris County and Atlanta and South Carolina and so and so and so and so and so and so. Because once I've cut my teeth with you long enough, like, he's been here for a minute. She's been here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That develops an uncanny trust
Mm-hmm.
that you can't manufacture.
Mm-hmm.
And been in bed with someone, you've gone to war, you've been in the foxhole, as they say. Those things matter when it comes
Mm-hmm.
around for the next deal. So
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen right now. So
Mm-hmm.
lean on relationships, lean on subject matter experts that maybe you don't know, your LinkedIn contacts, all that, and book consultations, invest in that time
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have to waste, right? So I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
pay for someone to tell me in an hour what I
Yep.
probably learned in 6 months to a year.
Yep.
Because if you wait too long, this thing's gonna pass you by. And the one
Yep.
thing we can get back, Suzanne, that I notice happens a lot, once you get to regretting, oh, I probably
Mm-hmm.
should have, I probably should have, I probably should have. That's a hard mindset to get away from because you knew you should
Yes.
have did something.
Mm-hmm. You
Man,
just and you feel like you're not taking advantage, and then you're don't know, do I catch up with the opportunity I missed, or do I try and take the next opportunity that could be upon me? And so you're always then trying to like reach back and forward at the same time, and it doesn't work. You don't propel yourself that way because you just never know if you're because you're kind of half in and half out of everything now, trying to catch up. So um, you're right. For those listening, please, don't sleep on this opportunity. I know so many people who have, thought about doing government, trying to go after government contracts, but not really sure how to do it and then not seeing the concept all the way through. But you need, like Coach John is saying, you need to have somebody in your court that knows what they're doing. So, connect
Yeah.
with people that have wisdom in the area already, have a track record, already know what they're doing. Don't try to reinvent the wheel by yourself. Try to, shorten the distance between A and B as fast as possible by using experts when they are available, and you have an amazing expert in this field that is available to you guys. So reach out to him, talk to him. Don't just like watch the live and think, oh, this was a cool opportunity, but actually engage with the opportunity, because you may be perfectly positioned for some opportunities that you don't realize. I mean, I asked in the last live we did together, I was really shocked the range of opportunities that there are. So even if you think, oh, like I'm a stylist, I don't have anything that I can offer, but that's not necessarily true. There could be opportunities with finding other stylists, with providing education, with procuring items that are related to salons or healthcare, or like hygiene relating to, similar areas. So, sometimes you may not realize how many different kinds of opportunities are kind of spinning in your atmosphere if you don't reach out and speak to somebody with expertise. Because I was really surprised, digging into all of this over the last year, how many opportunities are out there, the types of opportunities that exist, the way that you can reach out. But of course, if I'm just trying to figure it out on my own, I'm never going to figure it out, because that's not my area of expertise, nor do I have the time for it. So having access to people like you that have wisdom in this area, it makes the opportunity plausible.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could take, and I want to kind of leave with some resources that way they can leave the live and have
Mm-hmm.
an plus of good information. I hope that's tangible, because I'd like for them to be able to leave with something. So you said stylist. If someone goes to fpds.gov, Federal Procurement Data System, .gov, and you put in whatever word, because there's like a Google search there. You put in hairstylist, you put in artificial intelligence, you put in construction, you put in nuts and bolts, you put in whatever word you want to put in,
Mm-hmm.
hair braiding, whatever, and it will tell you what contracts have been awarded
Mm-hmm.
within that name. Things will pop up. You can start doing research with that. You can go to a Perplexity, to a Gemini, and start
Mm-hmm.
having conversations with the AI on based on, again, that's a whole other class we can teach. That could be a part three. But you can see at least out there who's winning and who's
Mm-hmm.
buying those services.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, with my former colleague client who's with the Air Force, there's chairs and tables that the Air Force base in Puerto Rico needs. You can set that up because you know how to buy hair products from a wholesaler. You can
Mm-hmm.
turn industry expertise and go find tables and chairs and get awarded an opportunity because it's on your website. You offer,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much there. Um, Go set up a meeting with your local SBA. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
SBA has software that probably costs them $2,000-3,000 a year, and they can take your product services code and your NAICS code and find opportunities that are spreadsheets long,
Mm-hmm.
sheets long, and that who's um, supplying these opportunities, where they are, how long they've been around, all of that. That's what the SBA is there for. You've also got SCORE. They're retired executives. They give their services away for free. They can be a mentor for you. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be in your same city. You know, if you're doing this, they'll find you a woman, a veteran, somebody just like you that could be a
Mm-hmm.
mentor for you within SCORE.
Mm-hmm.
You got your small business development centers. They're always attached to a university. There's resources there. Those
Wow.
three. There's PTAC, the professional technical assistance, right? Technical assistance is all the paperwork that you've got to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Their tax dollars are awarded through SBA. So
Wow.
those four right there, SBA, SCORE, PTAC, and the small business development centers, I tell people go there before you come talk to me. You can
Hmm.
still talk to me, and I help you navigate it, which will save you a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
But just going there by itself and asking them, how should I go
Mm-hmm.
to decide whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, get with your chambers of commerce within your city, your region, your area. There's a ton of them around, and start going to those meetings that they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your black chambers, your Latino chambers, your Greater Houston partnerships, and all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they are there for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where business really goes down within these
Mm-hmm.
chambers, in these partnerships, and these procurement opportunities, and these breakfasts and all that. That's where a lot of people navigate and come together,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, industry days. That's where the industries come out and say, "Hey, here's what we're doing," and you'd be surprised. Most of these events are free.
Mm-hmm.
You won't see as many social media people there, but you'll see a lot of industry people there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Bankers that'll pop up. They'll have tables and all this and all that. Get with a Chase and a credit union and a local regional bank and say, "Hey, here's what I'm looking at doing.
Mm-hmm.
How can you help me navigate the space as a banker?
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all do that? Help
Mm-hmm.
me, help whatever." And if they don't, they know a banker that does. And
Wow.
start interviewing banks just like you would do speed dating at a nightclub or something. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just do it. And you may not get the answer you want. You may have to interview 20 banks. But if you
Mm-hmm.
find the two that fit what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
in their community and they work with SBA and all this and all that, okay, now you're getting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But no how busy you are curating your base.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have for a whole lot of excuses or issues because now but they'll open up other doors for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I
That's
think
really
that,
encouraging that
mhm.
actually you actually do have a lot of control and power in this kind of opportunity, because it's kind of like the more opportunity, the kind of seeds that you're planting, those the more productive that you can be, because there are opportunities that are really hard. It's difficult to get the contact or meet the right person at the right time or to find those right collaborations. But from everything you're saying, it's like they're trying to ease the process as much as possible and to make, different services and entities available to you to help you grab that opportunity. So
Oh,
I mean, for me, that's very encouraging. Like, you're listing so many organizations, you're talking about banks, and I'm like, man, I wish that that existed for, every single, career desire that people have. But it's not always that simple. There's not actually that many people that you can just go and connect with. So that's actually deeply encouraging for people that are really considering taking advantage of that opportunity.
yeah, I mean, if you figure out, like, let's just say 80% of the careers out there, you can either pivot directly into an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
you're adjacent, like you do this, but the government contract is over here. So, yeah, you may have to do this 9 to 5 ish or whatever, but what else is close to your skill set that maybe an acquisition would help, or you can team with someone, whatever, and you can figure out, hey, I'm not doing that, but it's close. So let me
Mm-hmm.
pull colleagues together. We can do this together. Uh, it will present itself the more you see that routine happening over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's 20% that it won't fit. So you got to make a decision. Hey, I was doing this before. What
Mm-hmm.
can I get into now that is projected long term that will fit for me?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we pivoted this year away from some stuff we were doing. So, okay, bank rate is this, ABS is this. I need to start moving a little bit more this way and focus more on the acquisitions, focus
Mm-hmm.
on promoting AI and
Mm-hmm.
being in the space where we've dealt with AI, we know how to use it, but how do I utilize AI to where my small business colleagues and clients at least have an idea of how it works?
Mm-hmm.
Become just as valuable in the marketplace as I was
Mm-hmm.
before. You know, how
Yeah.
do I do that in the same space without losing the core of what ABS does, what a bank rate
Mm-hmm.
really? I'm still making you bankable. I'm still within the same philosophy, but you've got to stay where your MVP is solid. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that minimum viable product has to be solid, and the
Mm-hmm.
market has to say, "Hey, we have a need. How are you filling it?"
Yeah.
That's at its core. If you can do that, and make sure, please, and I say this with the most utmost respect, just because you think I want to do this business, what is the market saying? Have you done
Mm-hmm.
enough of a feasibility study,
Mm-hmm.
market research? What does the data said?
Mm-hmm.
You can say it all day long. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
What did the market say? And have you
Mm-hmm.
tested stuff? Does the market say, yes, we want that? We need that. Because too
Mm-hmm.
many of them, I want to do this. I'm like, who told you that was a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the heavenly spirits, or I feel it in my heart.
Oh.
I, no, no, no. Is the market asking for it? Have you done the research and the data to show that it is needed?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've done enough of that, and not just you saying it, but other people are saying, yeah, if you're good at this, I need that, I'll pay you for it, then figure out how that works, you're
Mm-hmm.
good. Everything else is that'll get you in some heart trouble. That'll make your heart hurt because
Yeah.
you'll get hit over the head with, I'm not good enough. You got enough of that going on as it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will leave people with that. If they can do that, there's resources, there's opportunities, but please stop telling yourself that it's not. This market is ever changing, and
Mm-hmm.
yes, AI is changing. But the final thing I will leave people with: large language models are large language models.
Mm-hmm.
Stop focusing so much on ChatGPT and
Mm-hmm.
focus on your Googles and your AWSs and your Microsofts and the proven legacy brands that have way more y'all are paying attention to, and start getting your tech stack together on how you
Mm-hmm.
in the different deals. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Twitter and X and Elon, but I will go to Gronk and ask Gronk certain things. I
Mm-hmm.
go to the Google Suites and do certain things. I go to Microsoft and do certain things. We're dealing with data centers now and all that. So focus on what works because most of the AI that's out here is new, but it's still in beta. It
Yeah.
hasn't been proven yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's new, but it's not enterprise proven. These new MCP tools and this just agentic AI and all these agents and all this, all that, they're not proven yet. There's not a
Mm-hmm.
discipline yet. So we've got to be careful with that. Uh, just running after stuff and kind of falling in love with it where it's
Mm-hmm.
changing, hasn't locked in. So if it
Right.
keeps changing and you keep running behind what's changing, then that's not there's not time for that yet. So just pump the brakes on the whole AI scarcity thing and just go with what is working and
Mm-hmm.
learn what works for you and just pay attention to how things are flowing and
Mm-hmm.
you'll be okay.
Well, I mean, I found this time very encouraging. I think that for people who are finding themselves in difficult situations, there's a lot of opportunity that's out there, and you know, even seeing what we are doing at the trade speakeasy, the opportunities that people are like finding and being able to, create these extra streams of income. It's not just about trading, it's about changing the capacity of what you can do. And this is another opportunity which you can invest in yourself that will have phenomenal long-term results for the person's life. So I hope that those who are watching now, watching later, follow both of us. But definitely, if this is an area where you feel like, you know what, I need to increase my income, I need to change my life situation, this could be a good opportunity for you. And it's a proven opportunity. This isn't some kind of weird Ponzi scheme where like MLM, where I'm trying to like get you to buy $1 billion worth of cleaning solutions and then sell it on to other people. I mean, this is, a legitimate way of creating and building a business for yourself that has that is an opportunity that begets many other opportunities. Because that's consistently what I hear from people. It's that just getting over that first hump, then it's, you know, really snowballs. So, yes, it takes, like anything, it takes a little bit of work to get yourself kind of up and going. But once you get over that kind of watershed moment, there's so many opportunities available. If you're willing to learn, if you're willing to, you know, be creative about your opportunities. There's a lot to be had here.
Yeah.
So I'm genuinely thankful that you're willing to come on to talk to us about this. And I hope you will be back because I feel like there's so much more that you can share with us. Always enlightening, always encouraging. So, and just to see you again and to hear from you and just to see how well you're doing, that by itself is a massive blessing. So I just, to you and your family, deep congratulations and encouragement, and blessings for all that you guys have been through, but that you've come out on this other side and just have been willing to continue to pour into the community is just phenomenal. And so I really thank you for your time. And to those who aren't already following Coach John, go and do it now. Do not wait because the opportunities are there. You just need to grab a hold of them.
Yes, yes. I appreciate the platform. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, let's just get another date. There's some things I do want to reveal as we go into this next year, because now once this month is over, what happens now?
Mhm.
I think more importantly, how do we navigate what's coming? And if you don't know what's coming, it can be fearful because we always fear the unknown. So if I
Yeah.
can open some windows of what's coming, I think that'll be the next topic of conversation.
Yes. Then
Yeah,
we'll be in touch and we will get you on the calendar again. All right, friends, have an amazing Sunday. And thank you so much for joining me, Coach. And to you guys, thanks for joining us. I'll
thanks.
say goodbye for now.
Cheers.